This is Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments with Shelby Joe Long, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Shelby Joe Long.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast today. I am Shelby Joe Long. I'm CEO of Business Dynamics, CEO of Road Publishing Partners, and Strategic Advisor Board Vice President. And I'm here today for this podcast interview to talk to somebody who has everything to do with how to get your message to a bigger audience, which is something that most businesses are concerned with. And I'm very excited to talk to Jackie Lapin of Speakertunity and Conscious Media Relations today to discover how her business started and discover what she can do for your business. So Jackie, welcome to the interview today.
I am delighted to be here, Shelby. Thank you for the invite. This is going to be fun.
Oh, it is going to be fun. I love having conversations with people. And I just think what you do is so fun and it's all about connections. And can you introduce both businesses to our audience and then we'll get into some more details?
Sure. So my mission is to get people in front of more audiences faster and easier. So I do that in two ways. One is I do radio podcast tours that introduce authors and leaders and experts to 9,000 radio shows and podcasts at the same time with a minimum guarantee of 30 invitations. And we've been doing that for 12 years. And among our clients are Don Miguel Ruiz, Ariel Ford, James Twyman, Joe Vitale, Chris and Janet Atwood, real leaders and luminaries in the personal growth space. But we serve anybody that improves one's life, one's business, or the planet. Now, about 12 years ago, some of those people said, can you book me for speaking gigs? And we said, we don't want to do that, but we know where they are. And so we started another company, which is Speakertunity, the speaker and leader resource company, which in a nutshell, basically has gone out and gotten the contacts and curated them in all the different kinds of stages that you might need, live and virtual speaking, at meetings, venues, and conferences, and conferences, and radio shows, and podcasts, and virtual summits, and virtual networking, and TedXs. And we just make it so easy because we've done the research for you. You can either acquire the list from us and do your own pitching, or you can retain our strategic partner, book for you virtual assistants to do that on your behalf. You get our directories, turn it over to them, and they'll do it. So, and there's a lot of other ancillary services all around getting booked so that you can facilitate and speed up your time to stage.
Well, that's great. Sounds like you have it all dialed in about how we can reach larger audiences.
We call ourselves the Speaker and Leader Resource Company, the Ultimate Speaker Toolbox.
The Ultimate Speaker Toolbox, because you definitely have that's what people want to be in front of other people, and you build trust in front of other people, and providing those speaker opportunities is such a big part of your business. Can you talk about some of the clients you typically work with? I know that we're connected. You're a Road Publishing Partner, so you're in the publishing community. I know it's extremely important for authors. I have a book coming out here in the next month or so, and you and I are going to be talking about what I can do and how to plug me into things, because I want to talk to people about it and be in front of people. Can you work with authors? Is that your primary audience, or do you work with other people as well?
Our audiences are experts, leaders, coaches, entrepreneurs, and authors. Coaches, for example, they're always needing to grow their client list, because if they're doing it right, their clients are leaving them because they're successful. And so they've got to fill that pipeline all the time. And experts and leaders are always looking for new people to come into their programs, whether they're doing one-on-ones or whether they're doing one-to-many. This is a real key way for them to grow their businesses. And then entrepreneurs, if you've got a product or a resource and you need to get it in front of people, so you're going to want to find the right audience. For example, let's say that you have something that is really appealing to the real estate area. Well, you're going to want to get in front of all those real estate meetings, which we can help you do. Then if let's say that you needed women's business opportunity, women's business meetings, or if you just wanted to talk to spiritual centers because it applies to that, or coaches or authors, you need to find the niche. And I'm really going to tell you, this is really important. Some people think that their businesses apply to everybody, but you're going to go broke doing that. You need to find that niche and then go speak in front of that niche. And that's kind of what we try to do, is we work with our clients to say, you can just come in and get what you want, or have a meeting with us. We'll figure out what it is in our system that's going to move you further ahead.
Absolutely. Gosh, I love that focus. You're right. When you speak to everybody, you connect with nobody. That's everything that I talk about when we get into the brand. And if the more clear you are in your brand, the more immediate connection you'll have with your audience. And you know where to place people and groups and conferences and opportunities to place people to make that message, help that message connect.
Well, and I think it's also really beneficial that you don't just necessarily stick to one. You can say, I just want to do podcasts, or I just want to do, meetings, venues, and associations. But it's really great when you have an array of resources, places to deliver your message. And so, we make it easy for you to, flip between the two rather than having to get stuck in one particular focus.
Yeah, that's great. There's so much opportunity there. Well, Jackie, what happened? How did you get into this business? What inspired you to get into this business of marketing? This is marketing, but not in the way that we think of marketing. We think of marketing as social media and as advertisements, and that is kind of in that space, but it's really a different type of marketing. So tell me about your background a little bit more.
So it really begins when I'm 11 years old. And I decide I'm going to marry my two favorite subjects, the Los Angeles Dodgers and writing. And I pronounced to my family that I'm going to be a sports writer. Now, you can imagine I was sort of a social outcast as a kid anyway. This really just, everybody blew everybody's mind. Yeah, sure. And I believe that success is the best revenge. And at 20, I was at the Detroit Free Press. At 21, I was at the Associated Press and on the front pages of the LA Times. 22, I was at the Washington Post. And there was a little stint of working that television show, Dodger Dugout, for a while in there too. So I achieved my dreams very, very quickly, and then segued into having one of the largest sports special events and cable TV PR agencies in America with a world-class client list. You know it all: Toyota Motorsports and the National Hockey League and Golf Channel and Top Rank Boxing and Showtime and Avon. And ultimately, I launched the worldwide poker phenomenon with World Poker Tour. So I played in a big sandbox for about 20 years. Media began to change, and I really didn't want to go to social media. And so I wanted to focus where I could make a difference. And I wrote 2 books in personal growth that really seemed to, they made me feel differently about my life. And I wanted to serve the people who were making the world a better place. And so that's when I started doing the radio podcast tour. I rebranded the company, as you've heard, Conscious Media Relations, just to focus on people that were making a difference. And so, and then you heard that about 4.5, about 7 years ago, some of them started pushing me in this direction. And so then we started Speakertunity, and then and we started with one product, and then it became 2 products. And then the pandemic hit, and I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of opportunity here that we have not yet tapped. What else can we provide? And so that's when the vision widened to be one-stop shopping for the speaker and leader. And so we developed our 75 regional directories. So if you live in the US and Canada, we've got a directory with thousands of speaking gigs just in your marketplace. And then we thought, okay, so let's take the same information and spread it out vertically. Horizontally, because so many people are speaking virtually everywhere, and you don't have to physically be there any longer. Let's give them all the meetings in their niche, which has then created Speakertunity Speaker Specialties. So, and as we've gone along, we've said, okay, what's next? What do they need? They need Speaker One sheets. We can do their Speaker One sheets. Okay, so they need training. We can put the training in. And conferences was the last piece of the puzzle. And, being able to bring conferences also kind of enlarges the audience. We've been largely dealing with people who are more locally based or are emerging speakers. Well, when we can put out the conferences, we're talking to bigger players and stronger business folks. And so now that has expanded who we appeal to as well.
Sure. And you just launched that, correct?
Yes, we have just launched that. We've already had a tremendous response. The response that we keep hearing from people is, this is a no-brainer.
Right. That's great. What is that? Is it a conferences kind of all across the genre and industries?
We actually have 20 different categories, 44 subcategories. So if you're looking for a conference, if it's not a really defined tiny niche conference, it's pretty likely we're going to have at least some in the area that you're looking for. But we really looked at all the different areas that speakers are looking for, and we started really focusing in on those. So for example, we have a section called industry specific. Industry specific has 35 different categories. So, if you want something in crypto and if you want something in cannabis and if you want something in marketing, and, so we've broken it all out.
No, that's great. That's such a tremendous resource for those. I know I understand as an entrepreneur, it's so challenging to find the right avenue and to have all those different channels curated for your particular niche. That's a tremendous resource for people to access.
Thank you.
Can you talk about some of your packages and programs that you have?
Love that. That would be great.
Like your podcast tours and what all
Sure.
The different things that we can do.
Sure. So the podcast tour works this way. I either read a book or concoct a pitch with you, and I capture your mission, your message, your book, if there is one, and your soul, all in about a page and a half. And then we send it to all 9,000 at the same time. And then we slate all the interviews. You basically tell us when you're available and you just show up. That's one version. The other one is more interactive, where you're engaged with us and you do part of the work. And so our high-end program includes both of them include media kits. So our high-end program is about $8,000 since the 3-month program. And our mid-level program is it's $6,000. But you or your assistant's going to be doing a little bit more work. And that also includes a media kit. Now, if you're looking at Speakertunity, we've got a great place to start. And it's our new membership program. It's called Speakertunity Members Only. And it allows you to, at the basic level, just pick one of our resources. You want conferences, or maybe you want podcasts, or you want virtual summits, or speaker leads all over the country, just a kind of a smorgasbord. You can pick one of those and start there, as I indicated, at the $47. Mm-hmm. But if you want to go up to the gold package, you get them all. You get all of those resources included. And you also we have a monthly coaching program that you can bring your questions, or, hey, here's my speaker sheet. What do you think? And those kinds of things. And then the third level of the program includes 3 cities or 3 regional markets, which is each valued at $479 a piece, and 3 specialty directories. So let's say that you want coaches and authors and healthcare professionals. You can get all 3 as part of that package. Sure. And so it goes from $47 a month to $127 a month to $297, depending on which of those 3 level packages you want to be in. But it's the easiest and the best way to get started. We'll always have our a la carte services where you can just get one. But the membership has really got a couple of extra benefits. You also get a speaker showcase where we're going to put you out there to speaker bookers that are looking for people. And we have our speaker resource collective. Now, that's the first time anybody has gathered leaders who serve the speaker world in one place. So if you need to know how to make more money speaking, if you need to have a speaker coach, if you want somebody to be a stylist or a videographer, or help you do a book, Rogue will be in there. Right. There will be lots of ways for you to to find the people that you need, and then you'll be a member of our community. So all of those things are benefit to coming into members only. And it's really easy to find. If you go to speakertunity.com/only, gives you all 3 options to take a peek at.
Great. Gosh, there's so many resources there, and the work that you've done to put all that together is incredible. What a resource center you've created. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
I have a question, and I'm sure you've been asked this before, and you did talk. I love the story about the LA Dodgers and starting out as a sports writer. I love all of that background. And I'm just curious, and you said you moved towards the podcast and the speaker space. What would you think, I guess, when you're talking to coaches and entrepreneurs and authors, should they invest in more of a speaker presence where they're talking about their books to get their message out rather than doing written marketing? What do you think? I don't know if you have any, you don't need stats for comparison, but what do you think is the better
Well, a lot of it
ideas?
A lot of it depends on the person.
Right. Yeah.
If you're more comfortable in front of a room, then that's where you should be. Right. If you are a little reticent and you're not there yet and you're not accomplished enough at that, then start, obviously with digital marketing. But I'm also a big believer that podcasts are a great place to start if you're not ready to start getting on live stages.
Absolutely.
And if you've done it right, you've given the host 20 questions to ask in a certain order. And most hosts will follow that. And by the time then that's your roadmap. And that's the equivalent of what you'd be saying on stage, but it just maybe in a little bit different order. So by the time you've done that 20 or 30 times, you've started to get so comfortable with the content that it's so much easier to start delivering it on stage. I did my last book, Practical Conscious Creation, Daily Techniques to Manifest Your Desires, which was the best spiritual book of the year at the International New Age Trade Show. I did 100 interviews for that book. When I got done with that, the next time I got on stage, it was so much easier. I really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, that just speaks to this about me, but I don't know if the audience does. I'm a communication professor. So I've been watching people do public speaking for years and teaching people how to speak. And it's really that continual repetition and having to talk about it and having to get those concise answers and messages. And the more you do it and the more you practice it, the more comfortable you're going to be when you get on stage, for sure.
Well, and I'm going to speak to that particular issue. Most, you of course heard that public speaking is the number one fear for most people. Mm-hmm. And the reason is they're sitting there thinking, oh my God, what are they thinking of me? Oh, do they like my look? Well, do they, am I believable? And all of this stuff is coming into your head. Well, here's my message to you. Get over it. They don't care about you. All they really care about is, do you have something that is of value that is going to change their lives? And if you come on that stage from the standpoint of, I'm here to serve. I am here because they need what I have. My mission here is to give them something that's going to make their lives better. And if you walk on stage from that positioning, those butterflies will disappear.
I always ask my interviewees if they have a good piece of advice for those people that are out there to start their business. And I think I'm going to ask you again, but that's an amazing way to look at it, that that it's not about you, it's about your audience. You have to put yourself into that position for sure. So Jackie, is that we know where to find you. Speakertunity.com, is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
And we can connect with you on LinkedIn and Facebook and all that.
You certainly can.
And I love everything that we talked about. It has to do with your brand and your message and being memorable. And that's all about marketing and marketing your message and marketing you in the way that best represents you. So I will ask you, do you have a final piece of advice or a final tidbit to tell the audience about how they can get their message across more effectively, better, how they can make an impact in their business and with others?
Well, here's an important message about how you're pitching yourself to whatever medium you're pitching yourself to. It's not about you. It's about the audience. So what you have to prove to the booker, who is the gatekeeper, is how you're going to change the life of the people in the audience. What problem do you solve? What is the outcome they're going to experience after they've heard you? And when you're positioning yourself and your speech, the title of your speech needs to speak to the outcome. Mm-hmm. I have one presentation I do, 10 speaker bookings in 10 days. That tells you exactly what you're going to get when you hear from me. I got another one that leads into conferences. That's 5 simple steps to secure a steady stream of conference and event appearances. You see the point of, I'm telling you exactly where I'm taking you. And if you can convey that to the booker, you're going to get on more stages. Don't give them generics, give them specifics.
Where are you going to take them? What results can they anticipate?
Exactly.
I feel like I'm looking in the mirror right now. I have these conversations a lot with business owners to be able to clarify their message and create that impactful message and create a transformation. That's what we want to do. We need to transform the audience, which means we need to sit in the audience's position to do so.
Exactly.
Jackie, we could talk all day about this, and I imagine we will in the future when I book my podcast tours with you, because that's going to happen soon with my book coming out. But what a treat to understand more about your business and more about your story. That's amazing. So I appreciate that you came on the podcast today to tell us that story.
Oh, Shelby, I'm thrilled to be here, and catch me on some of my other stories when we have more time.
Yeah. I imagine there are quite a few other stories there. I'm excited to get to know you even a little bit better as we walk down this business journey together. So you can find Jackie's information at roguepublishingpartners.com. You can also find it at speakertunity.com and on LinkedIn, and we'll make sure that all those links are available in the podcast channel. So thank you again, Jackie, for coming on to the podcast today. Appreciate having you. And we will see you all next time when we talk to an entrepreneur that has created a business out of their expertise and can help take your business to the next level. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments with your host, Shelby Jo Long. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.